Um, yeah, so the first film called Jannal Pukal in Tamil, window in English it's called Window Flowers, and that film was the first one that I made on a phone, experimenting if it's possible to tell a story with these real time treatment, and that's when this form of storytelling I discovered it, that through these long takes, a simple story can be told, daily life can be represented without it being, you know, like whatever, I can tell that story in this form. And so then that whatever I learned from that film, it took over and it became more refined with this film. And story wise, it was so initially my story was about, the first one is about a boy and the second chapter is supposed to be about a girl, and it was supposed to be about her having certain issues in college and in her relationships of her age, but being very suffocated by her parents' problem and not being able to even have the time to go through what she wanted to go through. So that's where it started. So while elaborating on what that thing is suffocating her, that became a story, and then the film itself kind of became about that, and it became less about her age stuff because that I explored already from the male's perspective in my first film. So that's how it came to be.
I think the use of the mobile phone is interesting because whatever we've seen here, people who are trying to use for phones to shoot, it's always trying to simulate what the camera is doing. It's always trying to be more cinematic, that prove that with the phone they can also shoot a cinema. But what you were saying is completely different, like opposite to that. Like, how did that thought process come about?
So yeah, so now because technology is very advanced and the phone camera itself is very strong, mostly your iPhone film would be a film that is a testament to how good a phone camera is, that you can do things at cheap. So that was not my intention, because even if I had like a lot of crores of money, this film I would have made it like this only with a two people crew and just the actors without anybody on a phone. It was again because of my belief that I had in the stuff that I've experienced on a phone camera, the videos that we take daily. So that is the kind of the form that it's mimicking. It's the kind of videos that anybody would take. It's not a cinematographer's eye. That's why like my focus is I've not locked it. I've not shot on log or done like heavily done color grading or anything. It's just the way anybody would record something. And my idea is to just show that the cinema is in that only. It's just the difference is this is fiction and it kind of plates it, but whatever value of emotions people are trying to project on big screen is already there in our pocket. It's just the storytelling that varies. So that was the ideology.
It almost reminded me of a vlog sometimes, of watching a vlog, but it's like it's alive. It's like cinema. It's cinematic.
Yeah.
Maybe someone from the group. What did you feel about the use of phone, use of cinematography in the film?
How up close to the actors, the phone,
Yeah.
and you were creative shooting, editing, and all of that. So I was wondering, especially with certain scenes with the father, how they can still be in the element while the phone. I mean, the medium is new, the phone's closer. It's not zooming in and zooming out of shots. It's like a lot.
It's like how they could ignore it.
Right?
It's right in the face.
Yeah.
So that was like subconsciously preparing them for, even before I even approached them for the film and during the rehearsals, that I would always record basically like how he's recording right now. Like I would always record things of my friends and this thing. So people who I've spent enough time with, they are very used to me doing that. And since we were going to make a film, the first priority was that, and since it's long takes, by no condition they can look at the camera and break it. So that was something that I told them, that I want to keep putting the camera like literally in your face, and because naturally if you will kind of feel very conscious and you'll feel irritated also if the camera is just on your face. So I like every time I hung out with them, I would just keep putting the camera in their face, and I just kind of, you just become invisible after a point. Like it's just, if I'm there, it's going to be with the phone, so you just start to perceive a person, like it just becomes a part of me, my presence. So it was just conditioning them to that basically.
Getting accustomed to a camera is one thing, but
Yeah.
the phone on your face is an entirely other thing. I thought was really cool. The fact that you gotten them acclimatized to a point where
Yeah, that was the idea also, because I'm not doing something that is done in some other kind of cinema. And my point was that if I had a camera, I will not be able to do this. And the phone is a very new thing that is not like I said before, it's kind of disregarded as cinema. So how do I bring this out using a phone? So these are like the obstacles of that, get them used to it. And these are challenges that a cinematographer will not relate to, like with the camera crew kind of a filmmaker. So
We're used to facing a mobile phone, like taking selfies.
yeah, sorry, that is another thing also. Like as part of this whole non-acted thing is that we are like now very conditioned to a phone is very non-threatening, and it helps with this kind of guerrilla shoot, filmmaking on public and airport and all, because you can kind of people are not gonna like look and be like the shooting is happening, because everybody is recording Instagram or something or the other. And so that non-threatening nature of a phone again is also something a camera cannot do. And it's also how you can kind of bring these kind of performances, at least for the first time.
What was the most challenging scene for you to capture? I found that auto scene would have been very difficult for you.
Yeah.
And tight out.
Yeah. I mean, physically, all of them were challenging, but like literally, I would say that each of them have like very, very different physical challenges. Like the auto one, literally hanging on to the auto was something that I hadn't anticipated, because when I tried it during the practice, I was able to do it. Like I scooted over next to the driver and I sat. But then during the day of the shoot, I had the sound equipment also, which was the mixer and the thing which I didn't take into consideration. So that was like on big recorder with like antennas and all that. So, and my sound guy cannot follow me because it's such a long shot that goes from one area to another house. So I just wore that bag like on the front. And then when I sat there, like that was like literally pulling me down. So it was like at the, so I was just like holding on, and we could only do one take on that day. So these kind of challenges came. But the more challenging ones are the airport one. Uh, because that one had to be timed such that it feels like they're just talking in a car, but just when they finish XYZ dialogue, they need to reach the airport, and then all of that needs to happen. And it's an airport, because then security, like the airport security, are looking for a reason to come and stop you. So that was like the most anxiety filled one. But other than that, but the larger one actually is the shot of the father the first time they meet, because that initially that entire shot was one shot till the time he closes the door. So that was like 60 minutes long, that take. In this cut, I have cut it, like it's like there's a cut in between, but we shot it as like one long thing that starts while the sky is still blue. So the whole thing of making the idli, this, that, and eating and then going. So like want to capture life, like really, like cooking it and eating it, and then till he gets fed up and bursts out, until she bursts out. So that we only had one day to do that, and that was a 1 hour shot. And so that somehow it came through though, like we got it. But that was like the more complicated in terms of staging and all, because so many things are happening, and like if one thing goes wrong, it's like we can't even start again, because it needed to be evening according to the script, so that you feel that day is passing. So but we got that on the first day somehow, so that was good.
How the camera shot, the framing and everything, it's the auto scene, like it's like bobbling up and down. It's not perfect. I mean, but like being from a film school, it might, like, how did you, like, you would have thought like framing and everything has to be like the rules should be that followed like that. So like how did that courage come about to shoot this way? So
that's because of that initial belief I had in the phone camera, that belief that I had in the quality that's there in our phone videos, because those we never think in these terms. The moment you start to do all that, it becomes very photographed, and then it becomes too intentional, which is also a good thing. But the kind of reality that I want to depict was not a very well framed, and this thing, like it needed to just lean into the way anybody uses their phone, and the way if the whole world used their phone very precisely like that, then I would have done that. But the fact that everybody just records the moment, like if something very nice is happening, you will just record it, because so that moment is captured, not so that it's like it's speaking it the best way or whatever. So that, like, if you see some celebrity somewhere, if you just get a glimpse of them, for you that video is like I saw whatever XYZ. So it still means that to you, right? So this is an attempt to make that kind of relationship, but to an audience.
ரைட்டிங்கில் வந்து இப்போ யூஸ்வலாக டிஃபங்க்ஷனல் ஃபேமிலினா தேர் பி திஸ் டிபிக்கல் குடிக்கிறான் அடிக்கிறான் ஆர் லைக் அஃபேர் வாட் எவர் இந்த மாதிரிலாம் சிகரெட் இந்த பழைய காலத்துல இருந்து அந்த மாதிரிலாம் இருந்துச்சு. ஸோ இப்போ அதெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் சேஞ்சாக இருக்குது. பட் ஸ்டில் டிஃபங்க்ஷன்லாம் டிப்பிக்கலாக சில விஷயங்கள்லாம் எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர் பண்ணுவாங்க. இந்த மென்டலி இல்லைனா சைக்கலாஜிக்கலி ரொம்ப மைல்டாக கொடுக்குற சில டார்ச்சர்ஸ்லாம் வந்து இட்ஸ் நாட் லைக் யூ ஹேவ் டு கெட் டிவோர்ஸ் அண்ட் ஆல் தட். பட் ஆனால் you can't also survive in the same room together. You can't have eye to eyeன்ற மாதிரி. Was it a conscious choice or over the discussion or over the performance அது கொஞ்சமா மாற ஆரம்பிச்சா அந்த மாதிரி?
No, that was the script. So everything that came up, like the story never changed or was improvised based on the acting and all that. Only these micro nuances we made more. But the story was always like, my script remains in this realm of of like low stakes drama, because to me, like, that's where the big things happen, like in the things that are small. And I feel like the example that you said, usually we see the big things happen in movies because those are also kind of easier to communicate. Like if you just say he cheated or he hit her, now like you'll never, in those 2 hours of span of the film, like you're not going to see him as a human being beyond as a wife beater or as a whatever. And same with her also, like if she is just something, then you will only see them like that. So but truthfully, like, a person is like the sum of their entire like life, which is a whole different challenge to show in a film. Like even if he has done these bad things, so like what do you call it, like the philosophy of the human beings in these films are that they are as flawed only. It's just that we are not going into those chapters of their life. He can be that, she can also be that, but at this moment it's not, it's just about beyond that basically. So
working with actors, like என்ன மாதிரியான இன்புட் கொடுப்பீங்க? ஏன்னா there are so many long takes and இவங்க எல்லாருமே நான் ஆக்டர்ஸ்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தீங்க. So what kind of input do you give, or what kind of exercises you do, or just the rehearsals all the time?
The input, I didn't give like input like that. It's like the script kind of like has everything already.
You have a solid bound script.
Like a physical script with every line.
Dialogue was scripted.
Every line is in the script. Like, so that kind of does the job of the realism and the nuances coming like 50% already. And then when they imbibe that and reproduce that, just when they do that, it's like, because if something is written in a way that reflects a real conversation to some degree, you just kind of subconsciously tap into the way you would just converse. So it just became like one relationship between the co-actors, where when I say this, she knows that this is what is to be said to this, because what else will we say? So that's how like people were able to remember like these like 10 pages, 20 pages of dialogue all in one, because everybody asked that how did they remember it, but actually that was not at all a challenge. The remembering thing somehow, like they just, the moment I rewrote the dialogue with them in Telugu, they only gave the how they would say this line, how they would say this line. So line by line you go into it, then it just becomes theirs, to a point that I don't remember, but they will remember it. So I don't know, that just works. I don't know how, but you just try it and it happens.
What I was thinking was like, I thought like you gave a situation and then asked them to like converse.
No.
Like this.
That is one form of improv filmmaking, but this is not like that, because that won't work also, because like it needs to be consistent to like tell the entire story within this span. Like too much of freestyle improv is it would be a miracle if it was that easy actually. So lighting, basically I just changed all the lights of the house to warmer, like the light that's in it, and like it's like kind of planting things within the house, so that because I know where the scene is going to be. So like, for example, that lamp at the that star lamp, it's just basically my lights are also props in the film. The like house lights, the kitchen light is a white light, so I kept the kitchen light white, so that's like feels like one different space only, and the rest is warm. Bedroom's like a dark place with like those star lights and all that. So the white and the warm thing, there's one contrast. So when the husband comes there, he's like very orange, she's very blue. These kind of like, it's just all hidden. And like when it's completely dark in the end, I left the door open so that white light comes, so that her silhouette will be visible. Otherwise it'll be an entirely black shot. So these kind of like just finding things and planting it around your set essentially is what the lighting is, and the rest is natural. The daytime are all natural. The car shots I didn't do any light because I wanted to just feel like a dark car the way we see, because cars are dark, you know. Yeah.
How do you manage the color grading when you're going from inside to outside, lighting stuff? Because in some scenes, the outdoor, consider the outdoor is completely white.
Yeah, so that's not a color grading. That's basically the exposure. So that is basically the phone camera does that. You know, like where you focus it, it's going to prioritize what is there and just give focus to that.
What phone did you use?
This was made on an iPhone 12 Pro.
Did you like any accessories or?
No, nothing.
the
Just
output?
the camera app and literally handheld. I didn't do anything rig, log, nothing like again back to why I believed in it.
Yeah.
So for me, the most astonishing part was how the mom characterizes her husband. It was very eerie and real because she says the way she says and acts and the kind of thing he would if he ever steps foot in the kitchen that they were just spelling. It seems very unbelievable to me that somebody of your age came with all that.
That is like basically my whole life's observation of India itself, like, or which kind of automatically reflects like everybody is essentially the same is what my belief, or it's just like my observation is that ultimately it all comes down to the same thing of like eating and having fights and having this and having that. So this particular thing of characterization, it's like it is basically a generalization of certain archetypes which I've made specifically through these characters, but it's almost like the most cliched behaviors of people told in a very it seems like it's not cliche, but actually it is the most cliched thing. Like you know that's why people end up saying like this is what happened in my house, is what which comes out as like a compliment of the film, but it's kind of goes back to the fact that it's so basic and it's so like it's just everywhere every day. So me trying to capture that is what I try to do in a film or in my film, like just find those things that are so everyday, because if you take what's everyday to you by default, it just extends to everybody else, you know, or just all around the world, like not just in India. Asian cultures also then relate to it, Western cultures also relate to it in how different it is, like it just yeah.
But you don't see it in movies, right? You don't see this kind of depictions.
It's very
Not
subtle.
often, but yeah, it is not yeah, that's also my thing. I'm not inspired by movies to make movies. I'm inspired by a lot of filmmakers and a lot of world cinema and all that, but I didn't enter this craft because of being inspired by movies. It's just that I was always crafty with filmmaking as a kid itself, and then I discovered films and all of that. But and the potential of what can be done with cinema I discovered through films. But my movies itself don't really I don't get inspired by some movie and feel like I want to do this. I get inspired by like certain things of life only. So that's not in my reference point basically, like movies. So I don't try to see if it'll work because if has it been done. To an extent I do craft wise, I need some confidence in certain ways, but I also gamble and feel like if we'll do it and see if it works, otherwise what's the worst, it won't work, you know.
What was the conclusion of the movie?
What-
That was little.
The conclusion?
I just don't know.
Uh,
The way she talks about her husband, like it's like as if he was affectionate,
yeah.
like when they got married and all that stuff. I don't know what is her stand now.
So it is kind of like what you make of it, but also it's not so cryptic. It's that at the end she puts that anniversary thing in the wallet. So now the daughter gives the hint to the mother that that he has conveyed the message basically. So now even though she's saying all these things, ultimately she's excited that he's yeah.
Did not return the gift.
Yeah, so she's basically looking forward to him coming back so that now we can resolve this and see, you know, whether it gets resolved or not is a different thing. Sorry.
I didn't like it.
And
But why didn't she tell directly?
It's left to the viewer.
Yeah, because it's not about what if it's getting resolved or not. It's just that whether you hate a person, like a person, it's not just so black and white. Also, you can say a lot of things and then feel them as a human being also the next moment and then go back.
Pani Butter Masala scene like goes against all our expectations. Right? You're thinking like he's a jerk, he's a bad guy.
Yeah, it does.
Then you see the signs of change. It's like totally surprising.
But also, like, is it it's a question of how her perspective of it, is it being manipulated or is he a guy who
It's
changed?
like years of trauma.
Yeah.
Right? 25 years of trauma.
And
Shallow level of understanding he has.
yeah. So that is a thing, that is how each person perceives it depending on your biases towards man and woman.
Another interesting thing in your film was like how you used long takes, but you let things play out, like the Polaroid, photo developing, or like the mother making idli and chutney. Like you don't cut it anywhere.
Idli and chutney and
Yeah, that was nice scene. That idli, she turn it over, and then the chutney also. Normally they do this, no? This.
But I didn't understand
Yeah, I
why
cut
they've
them.
done ghee on the
That is a Telugu thing, auntie.
Why won't we put?
Yeah.
No, I love how you show, like, as you said, how the time passes inside.
Yeah.
They're completing the entire tea,
That's the-
Yeah.
water, like, and then the scenes flow around it.
Especially at the Polaroid scene, like, totally that's going on. Because we are seeing the time passing.
Yeah, that is pretty much what connects all this thing together. Just that real time in cinema is what I wanted to depict also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it never, in every movie people will start eating and then they will get angry and leave. I'll be like, wow, they eat the food and go like. So that is comes from a personal frustration, I think, like of finally they thank you, that's validating now.
OCD or something like that. The tea was very watery. Like,
In this but that husband still liked it
Yeah.
because it's his
we were
wife.
always like, trying to say like,
Yeah.
You never know. He just.
Yeah, sure.
Why the name Monsoon Breeze?
Simply the answer is that it is the daughter's perspective of being the kid on the outside and these things keep happening. So I kind of framed it as if like a child is sneaking through the, even though it's not actually, it's a big gap, but it kind of gives you one feeling of watching into somebody's fight instead of being part of the fight, and the only person who will watch into it is the kid. Although as a viewer also the whole movie is like we are also kind of spying in this family's house, this family's life, but that particular thing is basically seeing it from the kid perspective.
I have a lot of thoughts, but I'm going to skip. I really liked the movie. I enjoyed it, and the relationship between the daughter and the mother. I mean, that's something I say to my mother, and my mother would talk to me like that. So it really touched home and really nice.
I think we're running out of time. So
Cool.
What are you doing next? So,
Next I have the film I made after this, which is it's in the process of getting a festival premiere. It was selected in this NFDC's Waves Bazaar Top Select, which is like a film market. Now it is kind of getting somewhere, and hopefully there's a festival premiere that happens for it, and then I can screen that also. I have made a film before this, and I'm hoping now I can screen that also. Actually, the film that I made before this. Other than that, I'm writing a couple of things, and I've also co-written one film that is just got completed, which is going to come out again in some film festivals. And yeah, just things happening.
I think thank you, Abdul.
Yeah, thank you so
All
much.
the best for-
Thank you so much to Madras Film Club actually for putting this together. That is actually something that is.
Thank you everyone for joining today. So I hope you had a great time.